Welcome back to Greezyz Gurage, Episode 3, Project Murica. All right, welcome back to Greezyz Garage, another episode. Today we've got something pretty exciting for you all. We've got a veteran in the house. We're going to be showing you how to install. I'm going to be showing our guest, who I will introduce in a second, how to install a 2023 Mustang independent rear suspension out of an S550, that's what they call them, into a 1964 frame. That ride quality is going to be great. But first, let's introduce our veteran. This is Sean, and I'll let you go ahead and finish out your introduction in a second, but he hangs around the shop and I can't get rid of him. So I thought, you're going to be on camera today, bud. And so here he is. All right, so Sean Fulker hangs around the shop. He's a good friend of mine, has become a good friend of mine, I will say, and because of hanging around the shop, and we like to have veterans on. That's what this channel does. So Sean, tell us a little bit about your service. How did you decide to go into the service?
Well, I joined a little bit after high school, and I went into the Navy first.
Smart move.
Yep. And I was going to get stuck on an aircraft carrier like this guy, but I didn't want to do that because somebody told me that'd be a horrible duty for me. So I ended up volunteering for submarines. Did that for 4 years, got out. I was in a construction battalion in the Seabees while I was going to school. Met a bunch of Army guys. Next thing you know, I'm in the Army, and I did that for another 20-something years, and for a total of 33 years. And I retired. I've always been a car guy and a Ford guy. I was really into Mustangs and stuff. I've had several of them throughout my career. It's hard to keep a car, when you're in the military, as a lot of you guys, if you're veterans, know, because you're leaving all the time and things just sitting, and when you come back, it won't start, it won't run, So I've bought and sold a bunch of them, enjoyed a bunch of them over the years, but I've never really had a chance to build one, and so I never really developed those skills. So when I found out about Greezyz Gurage, helping veterans kind of learn different things, of course, we get to help out and get our hands dirty too, which is kind of cool. But so I was like, hey man, I got time on my hands, let me, put me to work and let me learn some stuff. So it's pretty cool.
So he's being a little humble. Our paths were similar in the beginning. Navy, Seabees. I was Navy. I was on the aircraft carrier, of course. For those that don't know, I was an aircraft firefighter, and then went to the Seabees as a construction mechanic, which kind of made sense for me, right? But then you retired as a lieutenant colonel.
Yep.
Done some time in Afghanistan.
Yep.
Yeah. How long was you in Afghanistan?
A year.
A year.
A little under a year. A little bit under a year.
A little bit under a year in Afghanistan, and you had men under your command, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How many was under your command?
Well, I ended up commanding a FOB, or the major unit on a FOB, but we were right on the Pakistan border, so we had like 40 people, I think, something like that.
I got you.
So that was actually a small unit.
Now, for those that don't know, FOB is a forward operating base.
Yeah, yep.
So that means they don't like you there.
No, they don't like.
The enemy doesn't like you.
No, they like us spending money, but they don't like us there.
Yeah, the enemy did not care for you being in that position, so you all saw some combat there too. But and then you came home. You spent some time in D.C. as well up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I finished up at the Pentagon, where I did a couple years. And as a matter of fact, when I got those orders, I ended up selling my last Mustang, which was the best car that I've had, probably.
What year Mustang?
66.
Oh, a 66.
Same year as me. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All resto mod, beautiful car inside and out. But we had no storage, no place to keep it, and there's no way I would drive it around those streets up there or park it or anything. So I just decided to part ways, and then I figured I'd get another one after I retired. So,
well, what do you think about this truck we're building?
I
It's
love
going to
it.
be riding like a Mustang.
I
The
love it.
F100 guys, let me just say, they hate it. Okay, the purist guys, they're like, oh my gosh. But that wasn't the idea of this build. The idea of this build was to have something really modern, really comfortable to drive and ride around in, and just look, be old. So,
well, I love the patina cars. I like old stuff.
You do like the patina stuff.
Yeah. So I like anything patina, and it guarantees you that you're going to have something unique.
Yeah, that's true.
Because even amongst, if you line up 5 different patina trucks, all clear coated or not clear coated or whatever stage, or everyone's different.
Yeah.
And when you get the ones that are all kind of original and everything else, I mean, other than maybe a color difference, they're basically going to be very similar. But they're still going to turn heads, and I like those too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't shy away from getting one. But
well, this is my first, if you will, I would say my official patina. I've had some junk in the past that I could have just said that's a patina. That's kind of the thing, because it's against my nature, against me as a painter of painting cars but I've seen guys put $30,000 and $40,000 patina paint jobs on them. I think if you go that far, why just not do it? At that point.
My thing too with regard to the purists is like, look, I didn't take a mint car and modify it. I mean, I'm saving a truck.
Yeah,
I'm saving an F100.
Well, you've seen what this one looks like.
Yeah. And so they should be thankful that. Like, hey, you saved this from the junkyard, basically.
Yeah.
Because it would just sat in somebody's yard and rotted until it was worthless.
Oh, yeah.
So, and sometimes, because of the condition, this one's in actually really good shape, but sometimes, you really can't save it because the body.
Yeah, this one wouldn't have made it longer, because when I actually went and got the hood and the frame and stuff for this truck, because it was scattered all throughout the county. I mean, the grass was taller than you and I, and it was sitting in the middle of it. And so there was pieces just laying everywhere. So this truck would have never been what it would be today if we hadn't have done that. So, but anyway, well, we're gonna get things set up here, and then I'm gonna show you how to install a modern day Mustang rear suspension in a '64 F100.
Looking forward to it. Okay, so before you get started demonstrating this thing, can you back up a little bit, because I know you already mocked some of this stuff up.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of tell me, when I get, I order this kit. By the way, where'd you get the kit from again?
I got it from Range Industries.
Okay.
And so the nice thing, let me tell you, the nice thing about this kit is it's bolt up.
Okay.
Because a lot of guys will take this and then they'll have to cut the frame out and then stick it up in the frame and weld it in, where this is bolt in. I mean, once you understand that's what we'll go over, but once you understand where all the brackets go, this is like a 15-minute install.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
It really takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Those
right.
guys are pretty genius engineers, if you will.
All right. Well, I see the rear end over here.
Yeah.
And I see you got a part in your hand. So what all comes with, when I get the box sitting on my dining room table or not in my garage, what do I get?
So it comes with all the brackets that you need. The brackets, the nice thing too about the brackets is, if you've never built a car at home, one of the things, when you set the rear end, and I'll explain this to you and show this to you, but you have to set your pinion angle. They already preset the pinion angle in these things at 3 degrees. So it also automatically centers the rear end. So when you put a rear end in, it can be either way, kind of sideways. It centers it all. On the other bracket, hang on, I'll grab it, and I'll show you when we put it in. But see this part right here?
Yeah.
That centers into the mount right there. So it centers it left and right for you already, and front to back, because you can put it straight in right there.
Oh,
okay. I'll show that to you. So anyway, it comes with you have to convert this over to coilover shocks.
Okay.
You won't be able to you could, I guess, if you was a fabricator, you could, but it's easier to mount it over to coilover shocks. It comes with the mounts that mounts on the rear end itself, so that you can convert that over. Comes with the brackets, comes with all the hardware and everything you need. And another really nice thing that I really like, it comes with the sway bar relocation mount. So you can move that sway bar so it clears your coilover shocks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, but one of the first things you have to do is there's some stock mounts on the side of the frame, and we've already got those removed.
Okay.
Okay. But your
So let me grab the camera and I'll point.
So the factory upper shock mount that was mounted here, you got to grind those off and take that out because you're going to use some of those bolt holes. The front leaf spring hanger that was here, you're going to use some of those holes, so you got to take that out. Okay, on both sides, so you got to take that out as well.
Okay.
And then on the back, it's not necessary, I guess. But why? You've already got a nice clean frame, so why not just go ahead and clean that up and just make it look nice, and just go ahead and take your rear hanger off. It takes very little time to do that anyhow. But I'll show you. I mean, once you get those things done, now there's another thing. There's going to be a few holes in your brackets that you will have to poke a few holes through the frame. Not a big deal. It's a drill bit, right? And look here. This is your upper shock mount for your coilovers. It's right here. So once you get those holes mounted up, here's the secret for your back. All right, there you go. So here's the secret for your back. If you want to know where the back mount centers, see that rivet right there that holds that brace in? They left a hole right here so that it can go right there. So it clears it. So now you know where to mount your bolt. So you can just put a bolt in right there, put a bolt in back here, put a nut on the back side.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and then like I said, there's a few holes you have to drill out yourself. Now here's the tip for you. So the very first thing that you should do when you do this is, if you'll notice underneath, there's a couple of brackets right here with some holes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You wanna put the bolt up through on those first and make those tight before you tighten these up.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that really helps keep everything centered well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You want them aligned and everything.
Yeah. I mean, Range Industries, like I said, when I talk to those guys, they're like, hey, look, we're engineers. This is what we do. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And man, was it just super easy. And then, like I said, if you, and you'll see this a little bit more, but here's where your first, if you show them that hole, show them the hole right there. See that big hole
right here?
There, yep. That's your front, and that's your rear.
While I'm over here pointing at the camera, what other parts come with the kit now?
Okay, look right in here. So this is your lower mount right here that comes with it.
Okay.
And then underneath, you'll see your sway bar. They give you a relocation mount that goes right there.
Oh, I see it.
We can show them a better picture of that when we get it up in the air.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it comes with all the hardware. So now this right here, let's see if I got the correct side. I do. This is where your get this mounted over here. This is where your let me get that bolt in there. Let me get another bolt so I can show you what I'm trying to say. This is where you got to knock out a couple of the where the front hanger was, so you can get some bolts in here.
Oh, those old rivets.
Yeah, those old rivets. Yeah, you got to grind those out and take your old hanger that was hanging right here.
Mm-hmm.
It would
right
right
I can
here.
See that. Yep.
Yeah. So then you're going to use the back two holes for that. Again, make sure you've got a bracket underneath, and that's where you want to make sure that you get a bolt in there.
That's where the leaf springs were attached.
That's where that front leaf spring.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where the front leaf spring is attached. I learned in this kit. So if you're going to do this kit for your first time, one of the things that I learned was, before you tighten up a lot of things, get those bottom ones tightened up first. That pulls that up and then gets it in the perfect position so that everything else lines up well. And believe those holes are kind of tight. I mean, the bolt fits in there, and there's not a lot of wobble. That's what I really liked about it.
Okay.
And then, I mean, obviously, you got to go through here and tighten all these up, right? But See that one's right there is pretty tight in there. So I mean, actually, I got to even thread it in, and I like that. I didn't enlarge that hole on purpose because I knew that it helped me keep it nice and well and centered. So, but. And another thing too is this is all metric, but I'm being working on 30s and 40s all the time. I don't have a lot of metric sockets and stuff, so I do. But so if I say this is a 9/16 or a 5/8, you're going to have to convert that over to metric for yourself because I'm using standard. Okay. All right. So what we'll do is you and I will go ahead and we'll get both sides bolted up right here. Okay. And then we can cut them back on and show them what that looks like, and then we'll slide the rear end up and under and be just cool. It'll be pretty amazing.
Okay, yep. All right. Let me put this back on the tripod.
Okay. If you'll notice, maybe I can get the camera in here and show it to them. But see this right here, this bolt hole right here that they're on the bottom.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in and show them that.
Yeah, it's a little tight to get to right there.
Yeah. That's one of the holes that you have to drill out when you in the bracket, and that brace is across there. So you kind of got to drill that out, and you kind of got to put the nut on first, and then as you
and then thread it on.
Yeah, thread it on.
Yeah.
And then you can get a wrench in there, and then you can run it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So. All right. I think we can turn the camera off right now. We'll get all these tightened up, and then we'll cut them back on when we go to put the rear end in.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. So Sean and I got the brackets mounted up. It's a bolt and a nut. So, I mean, make sure, again, you start from the bottom. Get those tight first. Get out all the bolts in, tighten those first, and then the rest of it, you're good to go. So we just put some spray paint on it. It might be a little tacky still. We're going to drop the bolts down through here. And then Sean and I are going to roll the S550 rear end under it, lower this down to it. Nice thing is, if you do have some of these Harbor Freight vehicle dollies, put it on there. Gives you room to move that around a little bit. You'll see. All right, Sean, you ready? We're going to put some bolts in and show them how easy this is.
All right, so I think I got what you're going to do. You're going to lower the lift down.
That's right.
We're going to roll this underneath it first.
That's right.
And then we're going to try to line these holes up with these 4 bolts.
These bolts that going through this bracket, that's what mounts to the rear end. Yes.
All right. So how
through there?
Yeah. So this hole's way bigger than those bolts. These 4 holes. So how does that?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So if you remember, I showed you that ring that was on that one that I said help centered it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They had that little spacer so it fits in here. So it'll take up that, and then the bolt goes through that, right? So that's what helps center the whole rear end. Okay. But the reason why they're so big, and if you'll notice there's little knurls, little teeth on it, that's how you actually align the rear end. So all that room in there is so that they can move this back and forth, front and back or whatever to get the fine-tuning on the alignment.
Okay.
And then when you torque that up, those teeth grab up into the metal so then it never moves.
Oh, okay.
That's actually how it was done from the factory.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So what I'm going to do, let's take these, let's take the shocks and set them outboard. That one's already done that way. And then I'll put this up on the camera stand. I'm going to start lowering the lift. We'll slide this under, and then you can move it around. The most important thing to do is to get, am I showing it? Let's see. Anyway, we got to get that little spacer ring centered. That's the most important thing in the front.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Pretty close.
So.
Got it.
Nice. All right. All right. I'm gonna start lowering the lift. We can get it, somewhat close, and then we can move it around from there.
Okay. So in the back, I don't see that same.
No, it's not. That's why.
Okay.
That's so that you have that room to align.
Okay.
So the fronts are just to help you get it centered.
Okay. Hang on. Stop. Hang on a second.
All right, beautiful. Okay.
Whoops. I don't know if that one
Okay.
is on there or not. But.
It's all right. So now, as long as these go up in their center, that's the most important part right now. So I'm going to lower it just a little bit more. And you'll kind of see, and you can kind of feel.
Yeah.
They get. See, that one hasn't dropped in yet.
I think mine is in there.
Okay. All right, I'm going to lower it down just a little bit more.
Oh,
There it went.
All right, so we lowered it down through those holes.
Yeah, we got the pin centered, right?
Yeah, pins,
that's what helps us get that centered.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes with these big old huge washers here, and you put them underneath so that, remember I was talking about those teeth biting in?
Yeah.
So they have something to bite into, on the bottom. So then they bite into here. So then you just put that big washer on, then you put your nut on. Now there's a torque spec for these, but we're not going to torque it down to that just yet. We're just going to try to get it to where, that's the wrong wrench. It's an 18 millimeter on top and 21 on the bottom. We'll just get those nice and tight. Okay. We'll go over there and do that one next so that we don't lose our alignment on the pins.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And these big washers do come with a kit, in case I didn't say that.
Okay. You want me to do this last one?
If you want.
I think I'll swap the camera with
Okay.
Yep. You want to try to like center it, I guess, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, it
kind of
it
falls
doesn't matter
that way,
because it'll all get adjusted at the alignment shot.
Okay. Oops, this goes on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just give her some good ratty-tat-tats. There you go.
All right.
All right.
Well, by God. She's
installed except for coilovers now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're We'll have to lift it in the air to do those coilovers because we got to get. You can see that don't quite.
Yeah, right. That didn't go right in there.
Didn't quite match up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we'll put it up in the air, and then if you don't have a lift, again, just put a floor jack under it and lift it up until they line up.
Okay.
All right. Now, these shocks, they don't come with the spacer, so I actually had to go to the machine and lathe and laid out the or machine out the spacers right here. But that's because there's no two shocks alike. They're all gonna. So you can buy those spacers at the store.
Is that just to make it fit tight?
Yeah.
there?
So you don't want it to fit tight there, so it's not slopping around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that when this bearing in here, this is a bearing like bushing.
Yeah.
When it swivels in, it's not slapping the sides.
Yeah. What does it matter what shocks you buy? Or
yeah,
whatever?
it does. So they need to be 12 inches from eye to eye. So that's a common shock. 12 inches eye to eye, and then it has to have the eyelet ends instead of the shaft. Okay. I'm using 6-inch springs, 350 pounds. Okay. They recommend 350 to 400 pound springs.
Okay.
I'm using the 6-inch 350 to give me just a little bit lower ride height.
Okay.
But I do have 7-inch springs, 7-inch 400 pound springs here too, because I deal with a lot of race cars, so I have a lot of springs sitting around.
Yeah.
Because I want to tow with this truck, so it'll be an experiment. But that's where I'm starting with a 6-inch tall, 350 pound spring.
Okay.
All right. So we will. We'll get this thing up in the air, and then I can show you how to put them shocks in. It's really easy.
Okay. And I saw you strap this thing down, which is obviously
I strapped it
experience.
because the front end's not on there. As you can see, I've been fooling with front end, rear end, doing it all. So it's a whole truck exploded in this shop in one day. So, all right, let's get it in the air, and then we'll get you back on. All right, we raised this up a little bit on the lift. You can see now that I have the eye of the shock in line with the eye of the mount right here. All right. This is a pretty tight squeeze, and it's helpful if you have another person. And luckily today I have another person because I have to fit these two little spacers in there. And so these bars, they're pretty tight. So how I like to do it is I will take the bolt, get that spacer set there, and then I will get the shock in here, get that in, and then have your helper just spread that out just a little bit. And I dropped it, and that was good because it's loose. So go ahead and spread that out just a little bit, and then get that bolt in, bam. Okay, but let's talk about these springs while we're here, okay? Again, like I said, that is a 350 pound, 6-inch tall spring for a coilover, and it comes with the mounts down here. All right, it comes with those mounts that mounts right directly in. Now, I want to show them something because I think it might save somebody a headache. These little spacers, you saw me drop one, right? There's a hole right here. Let me untape that. Watch this. Let me get the tape. Ask me why I taped that hole up.
Why'd you tape that hole up?
Because I kept dropping the stupid thing and it'd go down in there and I could never get it back out. All right, so I put some tape over it. So I think we're good now since I don't have to pull that back out again. I think we'll be okay. But anyway, we'll get over and do this other one. All right, so we'll put that one in, put that spacer in. And, okay, so it's now here's something that's happened. See, this is another reason to keep that hole covered up. See, this right here is not exactly, here's a big Kentucky word for you. It's not exactly perpendicular. So let's make sure that that's lined up. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right. So we'll put this in from the front. Put the spacer on. Get that shock in there. Or bolt, I mean. The shock on the bolt. And then he is spreading that out. So much easier with two people, man. Yeah. So those are 3/4 inch. You can just tighten those up. And let's get this in the air. I want to show them some of the things. By the way, if you're not using Greezyz Gurage hand and tool wipes, you ain't American. All right. Let's raise that up a little bit for them.
Okay.
I want to talk about that yoke too. So this is a good reason why we're putting it up in the air, and we'll show them something else too.
Okay.
Okay. Something important I hadn't covered yet. And I left this on here, Sean, on purpose so that I could show you and show them, okay?
Okay.
The S550 rear ends don't come with a traditional...
Whoops. Oh, sorry. Bumped the camera.
They don't come with traditional yoke for like a traditional drive shaft. They come with this jalopy here, okay? On Range's website, they'll give you the Ford part number to order. That's what I did. I just ordered the Ford part number. Now, this is an 8.8 rear end. If you don't know anything about rear ends, let me just say this. Some people are going to tell you can't do this, and I do it all the time, and so does every other shade tree mechanic and real mechanic in the world. Undo that nut. Order this yoke. That's for a 1350 U-joint. Okay, you got to press these off or use a pulley to pull these off. So put a pulley on there. If you don't know how, there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to run a pulley. You're going to have to pull this one off. Okay, take the nut off, pull this one off, and I left that on there so that you can see it. Put this one on here, put your impact on, ratty tat tat tat. When you hear a couple of tat tats, stop. Okay, there is a crush sleeve in here. You can crush it, but you could not crush that crush sleeve, trust me, with an impact gun. Just bat, bat, bat. That's not going to crush it and not going to change your clearances in there at all. Okay? So don't worry about that. Everybody worries about it. It's the big question I get. Not going to worry. Just bottom this out and then stop. Now you can put a traditional drive shaft in. All right?
Okay.
So if you don't know about the S550s, and you're new to this game, what you're gaining with this is independent rear suspension. A ride that would be just like your 2023 Mustang. It's completely independent rear suspension, and it's so adjustable. It's just unbelievable how adjustable. You can see these big washers we put in here now, right there. But this only had 2,100 miles on it. And another thing about the S550 rear ends, they're all limited slip. You get posi rear end.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they come with all kinds of different gear ratios for whatever your goal is. I went with a 315 gear ratio because I want to be out on the interstate, good gas mileage, overdrive transmission, and everything, right? So here is the so you take out the original bolts, and this is your sway bar mounts right here. They give you that can adjust in and out, and which we haven't got to that video yet, but when we installed the gas tank, I had to move these in to clear the gas tank. And if you'll point right here and look, see that clears the shocks, no problem. Yeah. So you can have that room to adjust that sway bar in. Obviously, you need the sway bar. Yeah. So
that's great. I mean, I'm just can't believe I'm looking at all these like factory stickers and everything on this rear end. I mean, this thing's like in super good shape.
Yeah, it was 2,100 miles on the daggone thing,
Yeah.
So
Where'd you get it at?
I got it called Blue Auto Sales out of Lake Wiley, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing. So if you're going to buy one of these and you want a really low gear ratio, they charge more. So
Okay.
I didn't want a low gear ratio. A 315 was perfect for what I wanted. So that was $500. That whole unit right there, not minus, you're not getting the shocks and things like that, but you're getting the whole stock unit. 2,100 miles on it. My brakes are still brand new. I got brand new brake hoses with it. It all came with it, and for $500. I think if you get something with a really low gear ratio, they're charging $700-800 for those. So you could pay that for those, which is still not a bad deal, really. One of the things on the brake lines, so that's what this bolt right here is for, and then so now I can install the brake line there, and then I ran it up. Okay. Right there. So,
because you already had the brake lines kind of mocked up and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did. But there's this brake hose. It's got to go somewhere because it can't go in the factory spot anymore because there's no Mustang there, right?
Right.
So that's where I mounted it.
Okay.
So a lot of people ask that question on the forums and stuff.
Okay.
Forums. I can tell I'm old. I keep saying forums. It's Facebook groups really now, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Anything else that you think you might have a question for? I've not covered?
Not that I can think of. I just, whenever I think about buying something from one of those places, it's like, how would I even know if it's complete? But I guess they represent it as, hey, this is turnkey almost, right?
Yeah, I will say Nick down at Blue Auto there that I've gotten to know pretty well. I mean, he sells you the whole complete kit, and that guy knows these things from head to toe. And he has a bunch of guys that work. This is their expertise. They don't do anything else but Mustangs.
I got you.
And he used to restore Mustangs, but he said there was more money in parts than restoration. so he buys the wrecks and sells you the good parts if you need it.
I got you. So basically, I buy the rear end. Of course, first I have to have a F100, but
yeah,
I buy the rear end. I buy the shocks. I buy the kit.
Yep, kit from Range Industries.
Yeah, and my rear end should be pretty good. I got to do the yoke, but I can order that. The Range Industry gives me the part number.
Part number, yep.
Yeah, so from those couple of things, my rear end is ready to go.
It's ready to go, bolt in. I mean, look, you and I, let's be honest with the viewers. We had to move the cameras around and do this and that, but if I was doing this and didn't have to do anything else, minus taking off the old brackets, let's even include those. Let's say I had to take off the old brackets. I'm half hour, 45 minutes installing this thing.
Amazing.
And that would have been doing it in the floor because I've done this, and this is not the first time this has been on. I mean, it's been on and off several times, mocking things up. And the first 2 times I did it in the floor. I didn't use it on the lift. We did it on the lift today because of just wanting to be able to video and make it easy for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty nice system.
Yeah, and it's so adjustable. This rear end is so adjustable to align. Any shop will know how to align a Mustang rear end. Yeah.
Okay. And where would I find this Range Industries?
Yeah, I think it's rangeindustries.com, but we'll leave a link. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can go straight there. They sponsored this video, and I've got a few other parts from them that we're going to be putting on the front end that they sponsored. But it's not an affiliate or anything for me. It's just I just like their product. I like what they are, who they are, and they support veterans. That was my biggest thing. So, and if you go there, if you don't mind, just tell them I sent you anyway. Say Greezyz Gurage sent me over here if you wouldn't care. Just helps me out in the future.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, sounds good.
All right. Well, guys, there you have it. That is the S550 rear end mounted in a 1964 F100. Love you. God bless you. Now go do America. Every time he gets to shoot the videos, he gets to shoot all the videos. He gets to shoot all the videos and then puts me in here to do all the work. And then you know what he does? He ended that last video and didn't even tell you to like and subscribe. I mean, look, I got to come in here and fix all this stuff. Because he's the one that told you to do, I'm the Hollywood star. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Greezy runs the show around here. I'm the one that does all the work. He gets to put it in. You know, she didn't tighten nothing up. Like and subscribe down there if you want to see more. Maybe, and then comment in the section you want to see more of Greezy instead of Jeff and all his shenanigans. Look at this, not even tight. Not even tight, and I ain't even got no tooth. He's done hit all the tubes, left them up. That don't fit nothing. Whatever. Go like and subscribe, please.